Power Ballad is a film you most likely haven't heard of, haven't seen a trailer for, despite the fact that it stars Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas. It's currently playing in theaters, and most importantly, it's a good movie I recommend. To give a brief summary of what the film is about without any spoilers, the film centers around Paul Rudd's character, who's a failed rock musician turned lead singer of a wedding band, but he still has that dream of making it big one day. And then by chance, he's performing at a wedding and he runs into Nick Jonas's character. And Nick Jonas kind of plays a version of himself where his character is a widely popular musician. He was the lead singer or head of a boy band, but he's on the verge of becoming a has-been. And by chance, the two of them are able to have a jam session that night, which undoubtedly comes to change the course of their lives. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave you with the question of, oh, what happens to kind of get you wanting to go to the theater? And if I say any more, I'm going to end up spoiling it. And to go over the simple reasons why I like the film, it's just really easy. Firstly, the characters are great, and the chemistry between Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas' character is very funny. This film does a really good job of creating humor out of scenes of rage, and even like when characters are sad, there's a funniness to that. So there's really good comedic aspects where you wouldn't expect it. Also, just it's simple things like the pacing is good. And also, they're singing a lot of songs. You have Nick Jonas, you have Paul Rudd. What do you expect? There's a lot of scenes with songs. They're singing like classic songs. So it's hard not to get into those scenes. So the movie's certainly enjoyable. But what I like beyond that is I found that it asked questions that were profound. And maybe I'm reading into it. Maybe I'm trying to like be philosophical where the director didn't intend that, but that doesn't matter. I believe that the audience member creates his own meaning. Yeah, I'm like a postmodernist in that sense. You know it. So here are the key questions I thought that were the movie was asking. Is it worth sacrificing authenticity for fame and wealth? That's a great question. Next time you're at a party and charades just isn't cutting it, you should ask that question. People are going to be talking about that for hours. Another question I thought it asked: is public acknowledgement its own kind of reward? That question makes more sense in the context of watching the film, but I think it'll make sense if you listen to that question again. And then kind of like a question that you sometimes hear, but the film does an interesting take on it, is once money is involved in a passion, does that passion get partly tainted? It asks that. And then it also has like the simple message of never giving up on your dreams. And, obviously it's a cliche, but cliches can still be interesting, can still be very relevant, can still be profound in a sense. So I liked it. And they did a really interesting job of that. You get to see like Paul Rudd does a really good job of being like a helpless man grasping at his last chance of fame, of wealth. It's actually not about wealth. It's just of fame and of attaining the dreams that he always set out for himself. And life had different plans for him, but now he has this road to get back, and he's not going to allow any diversion to get in his way. So did a good job with those questions and with that main theme of never giving up. The one criticism I have, my biggest criticism is this: the film ends the following way. I'm not going to say any details, but it ends with, let's call it end scene one. So there's end scene one, and then it's over. It's probably like 2 minutes, and then it cuts to black. And then after black, there's probably like 10 seconds, and then there's a second end scene. I believe the technical name for this is called a coda. This second end scene, it's fine. It's just that it takes away from the messaging or like what end scene one could have been. Like end scene one was a great ending. And when I saw end scene two and what it was very brief, but it was just unnecessary. And it's I don't want to say it took away from the film, but just having it feels gratuitous. It feels unnecessary. It's purposeless. Like we did not need that. And it would have been so much better if it was just end scene one, cut to black, end the film, roll the credits. That's how I would have liked it. So that's my biggest complaint, is just the way that the film ended. Again, it's not a bad ending, but it's just the fact that I know the ending could have been so much better just by cutting out 20 seconds. So that was annoying. The second thing is this: the film has one original song that is really key to the plot. And for this original song to work, it has to be a really good song. Like if you watch the film, it by definition, in order for the film to work, this song has to be amazing. And when I woke up like the day after I watched this film, I couldn't even remember, like I could hum the chorus of the song, but I couldn't remember the lyrics. And the point is the song, it's not that great. Like if that song was in real life, it would not hit number one in the charts, for example. So you kind of have to move past that and just think to yourself, it's fine, it's a movie. It's possible this song could reach number one, even though I don't think it would. It maybe be make like a top 100. And I saw on Letterboxd, people were like clowning the song, which is really funny. So that's like a really small complaint. I actually really have no problem with that. For me, the biggest problem is the end scene stuff. So yeah, specifically, I said I liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Um, and I think that's a fair rating of it. I think I'm actually a little higher on my rating than most people. I think the average is probably 3 out of 5, but I just liked it more. I thought it was simple and I thought it was really interesting. And if you're really into music and especially the music industry, I've heard that this film is somewhat accurate in representing a major problem in the film industry. So I think you definitely like it. And if you just have nothing to do on a weekend and want to see a good film, I recommend Power Ballad. So stay tuned. And if you see Power Ballad, please let me know in the comments.